So, the metaverse, what is it and what the heck does it have to do with events? Well, it's obviously no longer the domain of just the online games geeks in VR goggles. The metaverse is really not the norm yet, but it's going to be the norm. It's going to have an expected 5 billion users by 2030, and that's according to Citibank. So rather than terrify myself with trying to understand it all, because it is scary, the language floating around it is really baffling. Digital NFTs, EFTs, anyone? Yeah, exactly. So I look at it as in a natural evolution of what we're already going to be doing online in events and go from there. And I have to do this because actually I am a corporate event host. If I don't keep up with things, I am going to sink like Blockbuster. So I can't treat it like TikTok, which I'm just terrified of. I've got to get into the metaverse and events. And actually, as a great fan of hybrid events, I actually think metaverse events are going to be brilliant because they're going to really boost what we're already doing in hybrid, where we cannot meet face to face. The metaverse just looks like the next best thing. It's basically all about how a lot of modern technologies, extended reality, blockchain, digital twins, edge computing, terms you will have heard, they're all converging and essentially they're going to be reshaping human experiences. And one of the areas where the metaverse is really expected to have a really significant impact actually is in corporate events. And it's actually already going on. It's more than already the case for some organisations. Let's look at Accenture. Their actual technology vision for this year is called Meet Me in the Metaverse. So it's putting its money where its mouth is, and it's running actually most of its internal events in the metaverse. One example, for Black History Month this year, the MD of Accenture's Texas office, Tamara Fields, made a living museum in the metaverse. She created an avatar of herself, and it took the attendees from all over the world using VR headsets through all the exhibits. So she was essentially educating, exciting, and including colleagues, global colleagues in this journey. And it's really just the tip of the iceberg for events in the metaverse. Attendance, venues, design, and of course, the money you make is literally only going to be limited by your imagination. But what's really getting me, the event host, I think most excited about events in the metaverse is how it is going to just take what we do in hybrid and virtual to just a whole new level of immersion. We're obviously used to virtual now. It allows you to have an event of any size, any kind of audience. But what's being done in the metaverse is just so much more immersive than Zoom or Teams or, even most of the virtual event platforms can do. If you've ever used a VR headset, you'll realize just how easy it is to just completely engage. It feels so real and dynamic. And obviously that gives you more option for self-expression and creativity inside those events. You can make virtual identities, there's customizable avatars, all these really fun, creative ways to connect and just do that thing that's so important, which is break down that divide between those attending in person and those who are watching from a distance. Now, we know there are shortcomings to metaverse. We're talking about a lot. It's still in its infancy. It's uncharted territory. There are all these concerns around privacy, identity hacking, mental health, reality distortion, screen time addiction. What are the laws going to be? What is it going to desensitize us to reality, make us lose track of time, all these kind of things? Yeah, it is. It is. I think we know that. But, I have teenagers. I can tell you the ship has sailed on a lot of those things already with the smartphone. And unlike the smartphone and things like Xbox, we are actually asking these questions before they're in our homes, before we're doing it every day. So we've got it now. I think we've worked out technology is moving faster than we're emotionally equipped to process it. So let's get ahead of those dangers, and we're asking those questions now. And I think particularly in terms of events, which is obviously what I work in, we can do that. I think organisers, planners, we've got to explore what the early adopters are doing, go in and check what other people are doing, what other industries are doing, how they're using it. You can then see how well or how badly they are protecting those people involved, and then learn best practice and put it into place for events. I think we can control the impact that metaverse has on events if we think about it up front. I think we've got to proceed with caution and with some consideration, but I think proceed in the metaverse we must.